In our church lobby, we have a single cup coffee maker, and it's used mostly for Sunday morning so people can come in and have a cup of coffee. But I also use it during the week for my cup of coffee. Well, I came in this morning and the lights were flashing. It was saying to descale, and I knew it couldn't be that because one of our members just took it home to descale it. I opened it up to find what was going on. There was a K-cup still in it from cocoa. Well, that was fine, but then around the cup, there were all these coffee grounds just stuck in the top. There's a whole pile of them. That means that two different people had issues with this machine and just decided to leave it for someone else to deal with. Not my problem. Well, I wanted coffee, so it was up to me to do something. I made it my problem. But because someone didn't deal with it in the first place, it was much more complicated by the time I got to it. I unplugged the machine and got ready to take it downstairs to our kitchen to clean it and refill the water. What I didn't know was that the reservoir in the bottom was full of cocoa and coffee and full of liquid. So I unknowingly trailed this liquid, this sticky liquid, all the way down the hall, down the stairs, and all over the kitchen. Then I turned the machine over into the sink to get the rest of the liquid out, and I got all the liquid down my leg. So now I had not only to clean the machine, but to dry my leg, to mop the floors. My happy cup of coffee had just had all the joy sucked out of it. It's not so much the cleanup as the mindset that needs addressing. When we create or simply encounter a situation that needs attention, do we think, that's not my problem? Or do we consider, is there some way I could help? The questions reveal whether we are more concerned about ourselves or about others. And that is a discipleship issue. Jesus tells us that following him demands that we deny ourselves. We are no longer to look out for number one, like the world tells us. We are to put number one, Jesus, first. And the only way we can do that is by putting others first, where Jesus says, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did it for me. Sometimes people give the excuse of, well, I didn't do anything. And that can be just the problem. Because as Jesus also says, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. If you don't care about others, if it's all right to inconvenience them as long as you're not inconvenienced yourself, then you're not caring about God. For whoever does not love their brother and sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they have not seen. Paul goes even further than that to tell us that we're not just to care for others, but to put their needs before our own. He says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. If I ignore the problem I created with the coffee maker, it becomes someone else's issue. And I don't care about that. Eventually, however, if we all have that attitude, the coffee maker will either become unusable or be removed because it's inconvenience. And then it becomes my problem. And then I'm going to care. You see, I am my brother's keeper. I'm called to care. When my elderly neighbor's tree drops leaves all over the street, I can say, well, that's not my problem, but it's easy enough for me to grab my leaf blower and blow his leaves off the street. And then I don't have to drive over them either. His problem is my problem. If people leave trash on the street where I take my walk, it's not really that big of a deal for me to bring a bag along and collect trash. Maybe you have some rubber gloves on. And then I don't have to walk through trash either. If the end of my street is cluttered with snow, because in our town they really don't plow the end of our street, and if I take my shovel and just go down and clear it myself, my car may be the one that doesn't get stuck there. Is there stuff that you see every day and wonder why no one else does anything about it? Does it inconvenience you? Maybe, just maybe, God is trying to get your attention so that he can show his love by sending you. This is Pastor Jeff Collins. Make it a great week.